Talk about the hips, using your hips, unlocking your hips, and the benefit of how it'll allow you to drop and turn a tighter radius. I'm going to show you this other really cool feature to it where, so there's two ways my hips can move. When I'm doing a circle, I can move my hips to the inside and I turn a tighter radius. Conversely, I can move my hips to the outside and open up my radius. Well, we know tight patterns, we want to turn tight, right? So why would we want to open them up? Why would we want to open up that radius? Well, so instead of having to generate a turning movement to, say, swing a little wide in a section, I can just open my hips up. So I'm going to show you that on this course where we're going to go through it, and I'm going to talk you through my hip movement, okay? Very seductive. So let's jump in. So this first circle, hips are in. I'm trying to get a nice tight radius. Here, I'm opening them up a little just to get around that inside cone. Open up a little, now I'm back in my hips. I haven't had to change my steering movement at all. Okay, so still hips are tight, meaning that I want a nice tight radius. Straight away, same thing, hips are tight. This is all just kind of how we would expect if we're moving our hips to the inside, we're going to turn a tighter radius. So that's all good, and I'm doing that now. So let's get through this bleeding ulcer spot, which, by the way, this is not a fully tight bleeding ulcer. Hips open a little, now I'm moving them in. So here we go. Hips out, drop in. So I'm using my hips to keep, and again, out, 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 in. Now I'm moving through this part here, using whatever technique I normally employ. Through here. And we're going to do this here after this section. It's 3 circles in a row, same direction. Load the front. So watch this. Lock, lock, lock. Hips are in. Open them up. Drop in again. All I'm doing is rotating my hips out a little, dropping them in again. Okay, so let's go through this spot right here. Hips are in, now they're out, dropping them in again. Nice and tight in, out a little, in again. Here we're going to go out on the hips again. Rotate them out, in. So it speeds things up for me where we're not having to change by generating turning movements. We're just rotating our hips out to open up the radius. Let's see where else we're going to have that. Out here a little bit. And then load the front. Hips are in, hips are in, hips are in. The hips are in on this first one, but watch. Here we go again. Next turn, open them up. And in again. Open up the hips again, in. Open up the hips again. So we're using our hips a lot, both in creating a tight radius, and then, hey, we want to swing out a little to dive into this cone. Play around with those hips. So there's a video on there on my YouTube channel about utilizing your hips. Take advantage of that. It's going to make riding these courses way easier, and mentally it's simpler too, because all we're doing is that we're going from here momentarily and back in. That's it. I got the bike between my legs, so I'm in, open it up a little, and back in, but I'm not messing around with the bars. Super easy. Good luck.